All right, what is going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to what is going to be an interesting instant live reaction episode of Talking Buffalo, your weekday daily driver for Buffalo Sports Talk and more. My name is Patrick Moran. Thank you very much to everyone out there for listening, for watching. Appreciate y'all very much. Today's episode is sponsored by Sunny Reds 1531 Abbott Road in Lackawanna. I say it every day, some of the best wings in town, best place to go hang out. Go check them out. On the video side, now you can be watching or listening to this whenever, but if you happen to be watching right now, we are live quite literally maybe 2 minutes or so after the Buffalo Bills in a thriller, to say the least. We can examine it, and we will, are going to the AFC Championship game to face the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead next week. This is the way it had to be, man. And I am joined, as always, following these Bills post-game shows here with my buddy Joe from Queens, who's actually back in Queens this week, fresh from a vacation, a little bit of Florida time, some Cancun. You come back, nice and relaxing, a lot of fun, celebrating your birthday. Happy belated birthday to you, by the way. You come back in Nailbite City. Nailbite City, man. What's going on, dude? How you doing?
Getting the beer ready.
Ready, buddy.
I may need like 3 of these possibly at this rate because I'm mentally drained from that 3 hours of Bills football or whatever we saw. It was, man, there's not going to be, I'll steal your thunder. I don't think there's going to be a lot of X's and O's. Like, it's going to be one of those, like, I can't believe they won. That was exhausting. Like, I need a cigarette. I need, thank you. Mark, I was in Cancun. Thank you for the tan. Yes, I tan very well. Thank you for the compliment. But yeah, that was just an epic. Wow. That was just an awesome game. I wish I could give you more. I will just say this to like, and you'll get all into your preamble. This game felt, it was the one game where Josh Allen didn't have to be a superhero.
Correct.
And I have said this a couple different times on this podcast. Like, when can like the other guys rally around Josh? It's always Josh picking up the shit when the things go bad for the Bills. Correct. And this was a game like, and we'll go over the numbers. It was not a great Josh. This was not an MVP Josh Allen today, and then we'll get into that. Like,
you're right.
For that. But this was a game where you had a laundry list of guys who made plays, the guys on the defense. Your boy Ed Oliver, I thought, had a good game. Like, their linebackers were great today. Other guys they brought their A game today. And I think that's what you come out of this game. If you want to look at it like, hey, they scored, they got 27 points with Josh Allen having 130 yards or whatever he had passing. It wasn't a great game. And that, to me, is the big thing for this game, is just other guys picked it up for the Bills. And the Ravens kind of blew it a bunch of different times and all that sort of stuff. But that's what happened for me.
100%. And that's a good take. Let's start there, actually. Okay, so Josh Allen was not Superman by any means. And I don't necessarily think that's Josh Allen's fault. Josh Allen didn't play bad. I think the Ravens had a good game plan for them. I think the Bills were successful running the ball in the first half, so they didn't really need to throw it. And then in the second half, it just, I didn't want to talk about this. I didn't like the coordinating, the play calling, some of the decisions offensively and defensively in the second half. But yeah, to go into a game and say, let's look it up right now. Again, this is real time, just minutes after the game. If I would have told you Josh Allen was going to be throwing for 127 yards. No, he didn't turn the ball over either. And he had 2 short rushing touchdowns, but he only threw for $127, and he only ran for 20 yards on 10 carries statistically. And the Bills win this game. I would have been like, holy shit. Who took this team on their back and carried them if it wasn't going to be Josh Allen? Did James Cook run for 190 yards? Did the Bills run for 200 yards as a team? No, not really. They ran the ball well, especially in the first half. This was death by 1,000 cuts, a victory for the Bills. Bunch of guys coming up with big plays that all added up, like little things at the time, but kind of not even some of them were big things at the time, but they added up. Matt Milano tipping that first 2-point conversion, and every one of these plays mattered. Matt Milano, that's a big play. How about Tyler Bass, who's been sketchy this year.
Yeah.
A huge 51-yard field goal. That shit mattered. Damar Hamlin, I'll tell you what, he got cooked on one play where he had zero ball awareness and a ball went over his head. Outside of that, thought he played great. And he also forced a fumble that Vaughn Miller screwed up or picked up and ran it. So you got Vaughn, you got Damar Hamlin, you got Terrel Bernard with probably the play of the game in the fourth quarter. I mean, he got beat bad. Mark Andrews, I'm yelling at the TV, who the fuck's covering this guy? Catches the ball, Bernard comes out of nowhere, knocks it down, and he picked it up too. Just all these plays. You know, Taylor Rapp got interception in the first quarter before he got hurt. And then let's just be real, Mark Andrews has dropped a 2-point conversion, a little bit of lady luck on the Bills side here at the end of the football game. But to your point here, I don't want to try to cover an entire podcast of topics here in the first 5 minutes of this, but that's what it was, Joe, right? I just like kind of death by a thousand cuts, all these little things that really added up.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of things add up. I also think turnovers matter. And I think if you look at the box score, those 3 turnovers, I mean, two of the 3 were big. I mean, the one interception, the Bills ended up not doing anything with it.
Yeah, they ended up funny. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that was like the big difference in the game was the turnovers were huge. And it was just one of those things. I think about the Ravens, what they have to be thinking. Like they had this, there were so many different parts of this game where, all right, you going into halftime 21-10. You got the chance to double dip, your favorite expression over here. It's like, all right, double dip here to take control of this game. It's over, baby. And then it's like, no. And then the second half was like, they scored 6 points in the second half. And it's just like, you're praying for like the defense. It's like, you can tell they're like gassed and like Lamar's doing whatever he wants in that second half. And it's just a tale of 2 halves. But it was just, it was a game that it felt a little bit for the Ravens, a little Billsy, in terms of like past Bills games where like they kind of were blowing different junctures. Like even the Damar Hamlin, like forced fumble on Lamar Jackson, they're like on the verge of scoring. Like they're running all over the Bills kind of right there. And they're on the verge of scoring. They're like, I think at the 25, 30 yard line. And like he gets a shitty snap. Like what are the odds of that happening? He kind of rolls right into Hamlin, fumbles it. Von Miller picks it up. They score. And it just a lot of it. They were just in the drops. That Mark Andrews drop remind me of like the Lee Evans drop from years ago for the Ravens. If you remember the Patriots AFC Championship game where
Derrick Henry also, if people remember earlier in the game, remember he dropped a pass. It was not it was a low throw. Like, it was a low throw by Lamar. Henry should have still caught that ball, but a better throw or catch, whichever way you want to look at it, that could have been a touchdown too. So you're right, kind of. The Ravens were the one that were very Billsy in the
I feel like tomorrow if you turn in the ESPN, they ask about this game, it's going to be like, do the Bills win it or do the Ravens blow it? In this game because you can make the case because the Ravens had like a lot of opportunities. When you have, and I made this comment to my wife while we were watching this, when you have the package from CBS that comes on at like 7 minutes in the second quarter and it goes miscues, the Ravens miscues, just in the second quarter already, and you have like 8 plays, you have miscues when you have to roll that out as early as you did in the game. And there were more miscues by them. So, they had, I think for them, they're going to sit back and go, shit, like we had a lot of yardage, and I think they just made a lot of mistakes. And I feel today the MVPs of this game, just to go to a little bit of, what I thought the biggest difference was I want you to apologize for, first off, Matt Milano was awesome today. He was back. That was Matt Milano. Like, I know you've been, and look, you're good. I like.
He did miss a couple tackles. I'm gonna get on a little bit, but yes,
he made some great plays. Look, he rushed the quarterback.
He more than made up for it.
He made up for it. He was awesome today.
He did things that weren't on the stat sheet. There were a couple times Lamar didn't take off because Matt Milano was doing his assignment right. He was spying. He did play. He played very well. Absolutely.
Yes. He played great, considering like how slow pace they've been having him. I thought he played a great game. Bernard was great, as you said, and that's the biggest difference from the first game to this game. With the way they went against the Ravens, when you had Spector and Williams playing, and you had your guys back, and that's I think was the difference for the Bills in this one.
Yeah, look, so far there's nothing that either of us I think have said that really could be disagreed. Why do I owe Matt Milano an apology though?
Because you've been shitting on him for like a month now. You've been like, he needs to play more reps in this game. He hasn't been good. You Italian, anti-Italian over here, Mr. Irish over here. No, but all I'm saying
that is funny.
All I'm saying is, like, you've been worried about. I'm fucking with you. I've been a little bit worried too, but I'm like, I didn't mind him not playing all that much. I was like, whatever, get him ready. He's a veteran. Who gives a shit? I thought he made some good plays today, and he definitely looked like he was making plays.
So do a lot of people in the comments.
Yes, acknowledge him.
People in the comments.
Acknowledge Matt Milano.
Yeah, acknowledge him. I liked what you said, your point. So we got some people watching this live now. In fact, we're over 450 strong watching this live on the video side, but most people are going to wake up on Monday, hopefully, and either listen or watch this, just like all the morning shows. And you said, are people going to say that the Ravens blew it or did the Bills win it? And I think there's a case to say that the Ravens blew it, but I would push back on that too, because it's easy to start from the back and work your way to the front. Let's not lose sight of the fact that the Bills played an incredibly good first half, especially considering the fact that the game started out like a complete nightmare. The Bills win the toss. They deferred, which at the time, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was a terrible call. I hated it. I wanted to get the ball, score first. That was my mindset. Anyway, Baltimore takes the ball. They go right down the field. They score. Very little resistance as well. I was like, well, shit, man, this is going to be bad. But the Bills answered right back. And then the turnovers came. So the Bills built a 21-10 first half lead, and we shouldn't forget about that. They ran the ball 20 times in the first half, and Josh only threw the ball 8 times.
Yeah.
7. We got sacked once. We had 7 pass attempts, but 20 runs to 8 passes in the first half. They ran for 87 yards. The Ravens gave up 80 yards per game this season rushing for a game. Best in the NFL. The Bills beat that in the half. Here's another important thing in the first half. The Bills went 3 for 3 in the red zone. And we're talking about a game, Joe, where every single point matters, obviously. 3 for 3 in the red zone. Huge. So they built a very big lead in the first half. Old friend Trey White, I thought he might be a factor in this game, and he kind of was a little bit. Like that pass interference, a little bit of a shaky call on Keon Coleman. The Bills got the benefit. I think the Bills, by the way, for everyone going nuts about the refs, and I did a couple times during the game, especially when Deion Dawkins got called for a bullshit holding penalty.
Yeah, that sucked.
I think the Bills only had like 1 or 2 penalties.
One penalty for 10 yards.
That's it. That was it. And it was a phantom penalty because it was Deion Dawkins. It was not a hold. But anyway, Trey White got that pass interference. Bills cashed that in. Like I said, Taylor Rapp was in position when Lamar, airmailed the ball for an interception. Damar Hamlin made a great play. Damar Hamlin played a fucking good game. I'm going to tell you that right now. He played a good game. Minus 1 mistake. He didn't give up huge plays. He was aggressive. He came up. He tackled well. I don't remember him missing a tackle. He was crowding the line. He had some really good time run blitzes. I thought he was really good. You mentioned Ed Oliver. He played great in the first half. DeQuan Jones was good in the first half. Lamar was just 6 of 10 for $123 in the first half with 2 turnovers. And Derrick Henry, 8 carries for 21 yards in the first half. So, again, do you want to say the Ravens blew it at the end, or do you want to say that the Bills put themselves in a position where they had some leeway in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, they did the second half was where it changed a lot. I think for what the Ravens did a lot of is they're great with misdirection. Like they were a lot of just misdirection and play action, and they're just great when it comes to that. And I felt the Bills I think what happened when they blitzed Lamar, they got to him. But when they kind of stayed back and were kind of like not pressuring at all, that's when Lamar ate them up a little bit at different junctures in this game. I think the game plan offensively, and look, again, you just take wins at this point. Like we're now out of style, like at style points like we do.
Exactly. You don't get picky in the AFC divisional round, man. We won't mention that Baltimore ran for 89 yards in the third quarter of this football game.
I think the Bills had like 19 yards in the third quarter in total offense. I had calculated that.
Brutal, yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal. And again, you had 36 rushes for 4.1 yards per carry is what the Bills had. It was an interesting game plan where it felt like the offense, it felt a little bit like the KC game last year, the playoff game, where they weren't really testing them all. They weren't a lot of big chunk plays of passing yardage, and they really wanted to run the football. And I felt like the Bills were kind of like didn't want Baltimore on the field all that much. And like you could tell, like just by the pass, again, like 36 rushes is a lot, and against a team, Baltimore, it's really good against the run. And that was kind of a surprising thing for what the game plan was. And then there was moments of Joe Brady, dialing up like, plays like they did the tight end screen to Dawson Knox. I almost freaking lost my mind on that. So that was just, I was like, what the fuck? Is this like Josh Allen called it? Because it's his boy. Like,
what are we doing here, man?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then
yeah,
that was
I lost
crazy.
my shit at that point.
I got fucking pissed at that. Was when I was pissed off. And then there was a couple other things with the goal line situation where in the fourth, what was it? The fourth quarter, where it's like they're gonna put this game away, and I'm let you, because I know you were pissed off on X.
I lost my mind. My wife
go ahead.
had to calm me down. Well, two things. There was a two-parter to this. Okay, I said if the Bills go on to lose this game, I will never forgive Sean McDermott or Joe Brady, either or. And I truly meant that. So coaches, coordinators just tend to outthink themselves sometimes. Now, I'll say this in defense of Joe Brady with a little bit of time to digest and get out of the moment. His thinking was they're at the 2-yard line and not the 1. And clearly Sean was thinking, if we're not within, like, say, a half a yard, we're going to kick the field goal. We're going to make them have to score a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion. We're not leaving this drive without points. And as it turns out, thanks to a drop by Mark Andrews, it worked. But that call made me sick to my stomach. And also, before I go too off the rails, I need to watch the film back. But I am telling you now, I'm telling everybody who's listening to this show, Josh Allen scrambled, and he was tackled at around the 1-yard line. It might have even been a little bit inside the 1-yard line, but at worst, it was at the 1-yard line, and they marked him down at the 2.
Yeah, I mean, they give him a shitty spot.
It was an awful fucking spot. Yeah. Literally a full yard. And where I was losing my shit at Sean McDermott, who walked down the field with all 3 of his timeouts in hand. So the Bills were up, what? They were up 5. A touchdown, you're up 12. That's a wrap. That's a football game. You walk down there, you got all 3 of your timeouts. Nobody's in your ear. You're not upstairs. I cannot believe for the life of me that you would not challenge that call. Because you would have got it. And I need to watch the film to confirm, but I'm telling you, I'm 99.9% sure that ball was down at the 1-yard line instead of the 2. And if they challenge that, they're getting the ball at the 1, then it's 100% Josh Tush push. Yeah. You're not stopping that twice. Tony Romo was saying it in real time. I was feeling it in real time. So when they ran that play, Josh out of the shotgun, power design run, I was just losing my shit. If the Bills would have went on to lose that game, especially Sean McDermott not challenging the spot when you're already up and you got all 3 of your timeouts, challenge that spot. A half a yard would have made a big difference, and it was a full yard from what I saw, just watching it on the TV with my clicker. Yeah. It drove me crazy. Joe Brady kind of froze up a little bit, I thought, in the second half. Look, you said it, man. Josh wasn't Superman. As you were talking, I'm going through these numbers. The Bills only had 2 football plays this football game, not counting the last play where Ty Johnson had a 16-yard run after the onside kick. Baltimore was demoralized. They were done at that point. But Ray Davis had a 16-yard run, okay? And they had a pass to Shakir for 34 yards. And that was on the 3rd down on the very first drive of the football game, okay? After that, the Bills' longest completion pass of the entire game after Josh Allen's second pass of the game was 12 yards. Josh Allen did not complete a pass for more than 12 yards from their 3rd snap of the game throughout the rest of the game. It was and it worked in the first half, but Baltimore made adjustments, and the Bills it was like running into cement wall in the second half, and I was just getting frustrated. The short little dink and dunk stuff when they did throw, I didn't love the game plan from Joe Brady, and it's really shitty. I understand to sit here and be critical of a football team that just won and scored 27 points and kind of been their identity of late running the ball, but I don't know, man. I think the Bills are usually the team that makes the adjustments, and they got adjusted on in the second half. I feel like they should have ran away with this football game. Baltimore was ready to get slapped in this weather.
Yeah, I think you're overplaying the weather a little bit on that. Lamar looked good in the second half, and it was still like what they the Ravens went down the field and scored in the first possession of the game, dude. Like, I don't think the weather was a factor. I don't think Lamar, he looks cold. Who gives a shit? It's Baltimore. They're not fucking Miami.
Cold. He was cold. Look at him on the sidelines.
They played go look at the fucking temperature right now in Baltimore. It's not in the fucking Keys over here. It's Baltimore. All right. I don't think the weather. No, I'm not buying that with Lamar and the weather. Yeah, the passing game wasn't really there, and you know, if you look at the box score of like the wide receivers, like none of them did anything outside of Shakir.
Amari Cooper, no catches.
Amari Cooper, I think he played like they showed him once on the
one
field.
target.
Like,
I'm looking at him. Keon Coleman had 1 catch for 5 yards. Yeah. It was a quick slant on Trey White on first down. Dalton Kincaid, 1 catch for 11 yards. Curtis Samuel, 2 catches, 9 yards. How did the Buffalo Bills win this football game? Dawson Knox, 1 catch for no yards on the worst screen call of all time. What are we doing here? Matt Collins, 1 catch for 12 yards. And the Bills won, and they scored 27 points. Thank you, defense. 3 takeaways. I feel like we're going to keep talking about a lot of other stuff where clearly that was the difference in the game. But yeah, man, wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have fun, you can look at the box score because we're box score scouts over here. Look at how many big plays the Ravens had. If you go to like their Yahoo stats and you go for their longest play for each player, I kid you not, I'm counting at least, for more than 17 yards, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys had plays of more than 17 yards for the Ravens. 8. Okay, go count the Bills ones. It's 1, I think. It's Shakir who had like, or maybe Davis had a big run, but that was it. Like the Ravens had like big plays today, but
the power turnovers.
It was the power of turnovers.
Really, that's quite literally.
And look, and Bernard and going back to Bernard and Milano.
Yeah.
Like they played great. The linebackers were good. The front 7 was good. I mean, and the funny thing is they did give up yardage. Like in the second half they did, but the turnovers are what made a big deal. The Bills, they controlled the clock. I mean, the possession was kind of the same, but it felt like when the Bills needed the ball, they keep extending that last drive in the game. And that's you're looking at that clock in that fourth quarter. I'm like, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Like, just keep moving the clock. And, you know, it was just insane that the Ravens just, as I said, if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm thinking you kind of blew this game because you had all these yardage and you just couldn't fucking get it. You got drops and you're just like, what else do you have to do? I mean, they still got a Super Bowl or 2 of them. So I salute, but.
I'll say this, and then I want to take on the video side, literally a 3-second break. But off the top of my head here, I'm kind of going in real time again. I got a lot of stuff written down, but 5 things. I think if you're a Bills fan and if you're being honest with yourself, when you sleep out and you wake up Monday, you're going to be like, in a lot of ways, we kind of got dominated. But again, on the preface of who gives a shit, all that matters at this point of the season is you are still playing football. They're going to play for a chance to go to a Super Bowl. We'll get to that shortly. But there's 5 plays in this football game that defined winning versus losing. 5 plays, literally. Lamar Jackson with a terrible throw that Taylor Rapp intercepts that was overthrown. Okay. Damar Hamlin forcing a fumble that Damar Hamlin, to be completely fair, should have held on to the football. He was very shaky holding on to the ball and he tripped once too and almost fell. He was shaky for a stretch at least, and then he turned up and showed why he's an MVP. But anyway, that was a big mistake. A big mistake. It was a swinging play right there that Von Miller picked up. So the Damar Hamlin forced fumble, the Matt Milano tipped 2-point pass, that was big. Bernard, the strip, and the recovery of the fumble on Andrews, probably the single biggest play of this football game. And then an unforced error with Mark Andrews just dropping a 2-point conversion to tie it up. At least 2 of those 5 plays, and maybe even 3 of those, are unforced errors by the Baltimore Ravens. Let me ask you this. We haven't really said it from this point, and fuck them. Who cares, to be honest with you? But you're a Ravens fan right now. How are you feeling? Is it just pure hatred for Mark Andrews, or beyond that? What are you saying to yourself right now that we woke up on Monday morning and our season's over? Because I still think we're better than the Buffalo Bills. We are the better team.
I think it's a collection of mistakes they made outside of Mark Andrews. Like, it was just a collection. Like, they lost it, I felt, in that second quarter. And I'll even go to one other play. Them not not going for it at the end of the first half when it's 14, it's What was it? 10-7. It was 10-7. And or what it was 14-7, I think. And I was like, they should go for a touchdown here or try to get in. They're inside like the 5-yard line. And they go for a field goal instead, and the Bills get the ball back and they race down the field and they get a touchdown before half. I kind of felt that was a little bit like they needed to go for it.
I'm glad you said that. I'm sorry.
And they didn't.
Not to cut you off. I want to point someone out because I've been giving some props. And you said linebackers played great. Thank you, because you just reminded me of something. Again, this is minutes after the game. I forgot it. Didn't have it in my notes. A big reason why they held him to a field goal. All right, so Bateman catches a 42-yard pass. I remember this well now. He cooks Rasul Douglas and Damar Hamlin, who got caught. He was not deep enough. It was bad ball awareness. It should have been an interception for Damar. Not shitting on the dude. I thought he played a really good game. But that was a mistake. It's first and goal from the 2-yard line. Derrick Henry's getting the ball. Derrick Henry's going to score a touchdown. Well, he didn't, because Dorian Williams put a lick on him, stood him up, no gain, and then there was a penalty, I believe, after that on Baltimore. I don't remember the collection after that, but what I do know, because I watched it back, I want to know who had that tackle. It was Dorian Williams. Dorian Williams saved the Bills 4 points on that first down play because Derrick Henry would have scored. And Dorian Williams made a great fucking tackle. And long story short, Baltimore got held to a field goal, like you said, and then the Bills scored a touchdown before the half.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, as I said, it was definitely, I mean, when we process this, it's a game that I'm sure you and I are going to watch each individually, but it was just an incredible game in terms of just ups and downs. And my God, I mean, both these teams are just so evenly matched at the end of the day. And, you could trash one another or whatever. I know this whole week I was in Cancun, so I wasn't paying too much attention, but I came
ugliest week of fan talk I've ever seen in my 15 years of being on Twitter. This was the ugliest week of Bills and opponent fans just being nasty.
I'm glad I wasn't. I'm glad I got some cliff notes, but I was off for most of it. But like, respect to both teams. They're both great teams, and I think you saw two of the better teams in the NFL right now. And I think if you going through this wild card week or divisional round weekend, the margin for error between all these teams that started this weekend, it's very, very small, because a lot of these games were a lot closer than they appeared to be, and then maybe some people thought they were going to be in one not, but it's just like margin for error is very slim right now, and now next week you got the Chiefs, and that's going to be the same thing.
I want to pull this comment up. Alex Barber, I thought this was good, and it's worth asking as a question here. Allen kept checking it down because wide receivers were not getting open. I did notice that too. He was being careful. I don't think it's Josh afraid to take chances. I do think that there was an issue, and I thought it even though they blew Denver out, one of the very few things I didn't like about that game is I thought receivers weren't separating very well. And I don't know this in real time, but that might have been the case again. Josh Allen was not, I don't even think he'd do a pass. I'm not sure he'd do a pass in the year more than 10 yards in the second half once. Matt Collins caught one, and that might have been it, man.
It would have been like, if they had lost this game, I would have came back and been like, where the hell was the passing game in this game?
Sure.
Like, that was and where's Amari Cooper? Like, I've been kind of complaining about him a little bit since the Rams, like, for a while now. Like, there's only so much you could say. Oh, well, he's a decoy. He's getting all these other guys open. No one's getting open right now, really, it feels like. I mean, at least in this game, there wasn't. And even with Denver, Allen had a lot of big plays, and that can inflate the passing numbers a bit. Like, okay, he had a couple of big ass plays, but man, like, I need Cooper to come through, and I need him to be on the field. Like I said, I think they were going to Hollins, Coleman, and Shakir a lot in this game. I did not see, I saw Amari Cooper once, and I was like, where is he? Is he not in the wide receiver rotation anymore?
Samuel, I don't have no idea what the snap counts are. The game literally
it'll come out tomorrow on Pro Football Reference.
It did not seem like Cooper
was on the field.
Played a lot. I'm old enough to remember where everybody was thinking that they're saving Amari Cooper for the playoffs, and we're 2 games in now, and he's just been zero factor. I think he had 2 catches for 9 yards against Denver, and again, no catches in this game. And it didn't matter though, man. It did not matter. I want to take on the video side. Literally, we'll be back in about 3 seconds and plenty more to talk about. And I also want to get into a little bit of Kansas City. Yeah. It's the way it's got to be, man. We'll be right back. I think when I wake up on Monday morning, which hopefully a lot of people will be listening to the show sometime on Monday, over 700 people live right now on the video side. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to be in a much more relaxed mood and a thankful mood. I do think this was a game, and I know this might sound silly because it suggests that the Ravens didn't want to win this game. They absolutely did. I think the Bills wanted this game. I think the Bills felt like they needed to win this game just a little bit more. I feel like there's a little bit more of a boulder on the shoulders of Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, and that this team needed to get over this hump after 3 straight years of losing in the divisional round. I do think that played a role in them playing with a lot of energy in the first half, despite the first drive, which the Bills, to their credit, they never panic. That happens every week, man. They just suck on the first offensive drive. They never get rattled. They answered it right away. The Bills came out home field with an energy, and I just thought they outplayed the Ravens in the first half. I think maybe the pressure of, a couple of things not going their way started maybe to get to them. They got a little bit tight in the second half, but this was a football team that needed it more. Maybe they wanted it a little bit more, just a tiny bit more. And this is certainly, Joe, when you were in Cancun all week long, living it up. Good for you. Buffalo here, just being in this town. And this is the first time I was talking to my wife. I've been married for 23 years now. And this is going to be the first. It's going to be the first AFC championship game we watched together in our city where we're from. In 2020, we lived in Florida, so it wasn't the same, man. We're back here in the city now. Anyway, Sunday, we went out to breakfast at a little diner in West Seneca. Then I went to Wegmans, and it was incredible. It was just the vibes were everywhere. Bill, see, you know how it is. It felt like this town had a nervous anxiety to it, like a nervous energy, but you needed to get this game.
Hey, I was in Long Island today at a Costco, and I was wearing a Bills hoodie, and I got a couple of Go Bills.
Go Bills?
Yeah, and one guy said Go Bills to me. He was wearing a Jets hat, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, okay. I'm like, are you being ironic here? What are you doing here? But anyways, yeah, I could imagine the vibe. The vibe must have been awesome in that town this week. And
it was electric. People were not saying what they felt. I feel like there were people who are like, I hope we win this game. That's what people were really thinking. They weren't saying it. They was like, yeah. I hope we win this football game.
I know I had told you, I picked them to win today, the Bills, which
so did I.
I picked them to win by 1. I picked 20-21.
I had 27-17. So I did. I actually.
Oh my God, you had a blowout. You're in
wasn't that far away from.
Who listens to you? Yeah, whatever. Anyways, I was closer, so people put money on the line. If you follow me, if you want to put,
Did you see Dave Portnoy? Dave Portnoy bet $1 million on the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
I hear that fucking Barstool. No, we don't mention Barstool. Go mention it with Alex Spassky about Barstool.
Dude, I don't care. Dude, he supports winners. I don't care. I'm just saying. I'm just putting out there. He bet $1 million on the Bills. I thought that was pretty wild. Great. He did it on. Awesome. He did it on Sunday. Sick. There was definitely like I said, a very nervous energy amongst fans and people just who follow this team. And I don't want to be critical. There's not a lot to be critical of. This was not the Houston Texans or the Colts. This was a great football team. This was a team very capable. If they beat the Bills, they easily could win the Super Bowl. I bet I wouldn't even be surprised if Baltimore would have been a 1 or 2 point favorite in Kansas City next week.
Baltimore's they're a talented ass team. And as I said to you before, they're probably sitting there like Ravens fans, like we fucking fucked ourselves. And Flowers being hurt didn't help, obviously. Sure. Good wide receiver, obviously that helps him out. And it is what it is. But look, it's I'm exhausted. It was a fucking crazy game. I'm not a professional, if you guys can't tell, by my amazing setup over here. And it's just kind of like when you do a post show right away, it's like, what the hell did we just went through? It was
especially like a game like that with all the stakes. There's so much on the line.
Yeah, and you're just quickly like, after. Yeah, but look, give them credit. They had a big albatross around for the Bills. Look, can you imagine, like, you lose this game, you lose 3 straight home games into the divisional round. Home, not fucking on the road or anything like that, where Baltimore's excuse can be, man, we needed to get home field. They're thinking that maybe like, hey, if we play this in Baltimore. And the Bills haven't had that issue at all. With playing 3 home games in a row, you lose this, then it's like, oh shit, you're losing 3. Then how big is the home field advantage? Amazingly, if you think about it, Josh Allen's numbers in the divisional round of the playoffs have not been great since 13 seconds. He wasn't good in the Bengals game. He wasn't that great against Kansas City last year. And this year, his numbers are pretty not. What do you mean? I'm right.
I thought he was good against the Chiefs last year. He was good. He certainly played enough to win. His teammates let him down.
The drops sucked, but he had 189 yards. I'm just saying, in comparison to what he did in the wild card game, where he's like fucking chucking it all over the place, he hasn't had those games. All I'm saying is, if they lose today and it's like you look at all the numbers, you go, where was the passing game? Because that was, I thought, a big issue. But look, good teams, great. Look, the Chiefs win games like this all the time when they don't really deserve it. You know what I mean? You're kind of like, there's fluke things that happens all the fucking time. And like the Bills, like it was a crazy game where like, I don't want to say the football gods, but whatever, I'll say it. The football gods were kind of on their side. And
it
the
feels
Ravens
weird. Haven't we been saying for a lot of this season things feel a little bit different this year? Maybe this is kind of an example of that. Like, this is the game that the Bills lose, especially in the divisional round when it gets to the bitty postseason. This is the type of game the Bills find a way to lose somehow, some way. You want to hear how superstitious I am?
Oh, God. What, you haven't showered in a week?
No, come on, man.
Oh, I don't know. You smell.
On the video side, people who listen won't get this, but on the video side, my backdrop's the same. It's the same as always, same stuff behind me. I swear to God, this is the truth. About 2 or 3 hours before the game, that Talking Buffalo sign, I took it down. I had a portrait of like Dalton Kincaid jumping in the stands. I was like, you know what? I want to switch my shit up, man. I'm getting tired of the way it looks. I want to put a couple different pieces behind me, switch it up. About 90 minutes before the game, I got superstitious. I'm like, hold on, man. The Bills have been doing good right now. Things just feel different this year. Why am I going to fuck around and mess it up? So I actually took everything and I put it exactly back the way it was.
Well, I'll tell you some superstitious shit. Mine is better than yours. My wife has made our son wear the same pajamas almost every night before a Bills game, and she made him wear the same outfit he wore last week, the playoff outfit, which he's sleeping in because the game was going on. We never get a 6:30 game, so it was like she's like, he's going down in this fucking outfit. So he went down, no pajamas. He was wearing jeans and a fucking Bill shirt. So there's your.
If anybody listening or watching this show has their own specific Bills superstition, leave it in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, or tweet at me or email me.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, I would love to know some specific Bills superstitions that people may have. Look, you know what this game proved above all else, Joe, is that, and I got to be careful here because I think the Buffalo Bills, look, they were the 2 seed. They were the home team, okay? They were the higher seed and the home team. And what, a 1.5 underdog? That's nothing. It's basically the same thing as a coin flip. So it wasn't like Rocky Balboa going to Russia and trying to beat Ivan Drago, okay? That's not what the odds were in this game. But what this proved to me is that takeaways truly, truly, truly are the great equalizer. Because as I'm going through these stats, as we're kind of digesting this, and we've talked about a lot of it, Josh only threw for $127. No receiver really did shit on the Bills. Nobody really did anything on the Bills. Lamar threw for 254, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The Ravens ran 30 times for 176 yards, 5.9 yards per carry. So if I'm going to tell you Josh Allen throws for 0 touchdown passes, $127, no receivers are doing shit. They run the ball okay, but Baltimore runs for 176 yards and Lamar throws for 254. I feel like 9 times out of 10, I'm going to tell you that the Bills lost this game by 10 to 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just these takeaways, these plays were just so big.
Yeah, I mean, the one turnover, like I said, the Lamar Jackson fumble, like I think they're like at the 30-yard line. Like they look like they're about to score, and that happens, and the Bills return it all the way to the freaking like 20-yard line. The Bernard, Andrews fumble, that's at midfield. Like these are not only are they costly turnovers, but their turnovers are happening on the wrong side of the field, like a double shitty for the Ravens, because you're about to score on one, and then they return it all the way down the field. Von Miller does, and then the midfield one. So
I want to bring up a comment that one of our regulars says, and one of my favorites, but I am going to be disrespectful, disagreeing with him here. All right. You talked about, Mark Andrews fans are going to be pissed at, and the national talking heads, and we all know they're just going to say shit for engagement. But
Like
Ralph
you.
Wilson Sr., again, a regular commenter on the show, said these are the type of games Lamar loses. I think that's bullshit. I think that's unfair to Lamar Jackson. Okay. Now, he made some mistakes in the first half. He more than made up for it. Look at the second half, the two critical plays of the football game. Is it Lamar Jackson's fault that Terrel Bernard rips the ball out from Mark Andrews when Mark Andrews is wide open? He sees him. Was it Lamar's fault that Mark Andrews literally dropped the 2-point conversion and would have tied the game? If people are going to say that Lamar Jackson's a loser or choke artist in the playoffs, I just think it's very, very unfair. Statistically, it's going to show he's 4-5 in the playoffs now, and it's going to show his touchdowns to interceptions is dead even. Statistically, it's not great, but I ain't putting this game on Lamar. Lamar Jackson is not why the Ravens didn't win this football game. Not to me, it's not.
No, I thought he played it. Like I said, he was a little
not perfect.
shaky to me.
Wobbly. He was wobbly in the first half, man. He did not play very good in the first half.
Yeah, but again, it was. I thought he did fine. Look, I'm so over the MVP talk. I mean, I was even on Twitter.
I don't think anyone cares in Buffalo anymore. After this game, nobody cares. I think a lot of people who thought Josh Allen was going to win MVP, including me, are now saying Lamar's probably going to win it, and I don't give a shit. Now, if you would have lost this game, that would have been all you had left. Oh, the Ravens beat the Bills, and Lamar wins MVP. Fucking of course, but I don't give a shit anymore.
So let me ask you this now. Can we go? Can we go to the Chiefs a little bit? Let me ask you this.
Go
fucking hell. Go ahead. Get your shit in. Get your hit in, Steve Austin.
No. One more thing, because you want to talk about the Chiefs, but there is one point from the game we never talked about. Steve commented, I hope Taylor Rapp is okay. Yeah, Taylor Rapp looked like he suffered a pretty significant hip injury, and he was carted out. So you might be playing the Chiefs next week with Cole Bishop starting. In fact, you almost certainly will be. All right, I didn't mean to interrupt you. My bad. Go ahead. What do you want to get into?
Did this game make you feel better about facing the Chiefs or worse?
Yes, makes me feel better.
Better? Why is that?
Because I know what the offense could do. I know Josh Allen plays well against the Chiefs. I believe the Bills could throw the football on the Chiefs. I think the Bills' offense will be fine. I think the Bills, we've seen it. Look, Denver, number 2 defense, I think, in the NFL. They scored 31 on them. They hung 31 up on them. Today, a very tough defense. Cold, not great weather. Offense wasn't great, but you know what? Somehow, some way, they end up scoring 27 points. I believe the Bills could score 27 to 35 points against the Chiefs or literally anybody in the NFL, and I'm not sure that Kansas City could do that against Buffalo. Plus, the takeaways matter, man. This team just gets.
But that's here's the thing, though. Is Mahomes going to throw turnovers? Is he going to be? Like, is he going to be the guy?
Yes, maybe not, because he never seems to do it in the playoffs.
I mean, he did have. Yes, I mean, he did have. I think he had an interception or two in the first game. I remember he had the interception in the first drive in Buffalo. But yeah, I'll just say this for next week. They better. I hope they bring a little bit better of a passing game than we saw today. Obviously they. In terms of, and I hope we see a little bit more Amari Cooper. Like, come on, like he's. I'm like, come on, like you traded for him, and he hasn't really done much in like here and there, like
he's not even playing. A lot of people are out there saying, "Well, he's a hell of a decoy," and people got to pay a lot of attention to him. I'm like, well, they got to pay attention. Are they paying attention to him on the sideline? Because that's where he's at, like 64 to 66% of the plays. He's not even on the field, so I don't know how much of a decoy. He's been.
Not.
I don't know what it is. Very weird thing to me.
Can I ask you, because I was like off the beaten path over here. Did they establish why he was gone for those couple of days?
No, maybe they did. I don't know if they did though.
Okay. I was curious, like why he's not. His snap counts are just dwindled. Like I'm telling you, he was not really on the field today. I was looking for him.
I think it's because two things. No secret here. They love Matt Collins' run blocking. He is a trusted run blocker, and Keon Coleman's a pretty good run blocker, so I get that. The other thing is, he didn't have a good game statistically today, but you can see they wanted to go to him more. Curtis Samuel's role is emerging a little bit more over the last couple weeks. He's on the field more. Again, he didn't do it this week, but last week he scored that, back-breaking 55-yard touchdown on Patrick Surtain. So I think they're just using Samuel more than they are Cooper at this point.
Sure. I guess they just need to get something going with some of these passing from this week. Again, they were okay last week. I just think the weaponry, the passing game just hasn't been clicking as much as I think it should be. But whatever. You're right.
All year.
We'll see what happens next week. I will say this right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking the Bills to win next week. I think they're going to beat the Chiefs.
You already know.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, well, I'm not like you, who's going to copy people, and you got your 5 people you probably listen to all the time, and you write down what they say and just copy their shit, like Sal Capaccio or Alex Bashke or fucking Skursky. Anyway, no, I make my decisions right now. I think the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs next week. I really do. I think the Chiefs are susceptible. Bills are probably a little bit here and there, but I just feel like. I just feel like the time is now. I just cannot see a playoff team losing 4 times to the same team. And that maybe that's just kind of like an aura.
Who they beat all the time in the regular season too.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like you're fucking 4-0 now in the regular season.
This is almost like a divisional game. You know what I say? You keep playing a team. There's no secrets. Yeah. I don't think there's any secrets with the Bills and the Chiefs. They know each other inside out.
Yeah, and look. And Josh Allen has had great games against them, obviously. This has been a team like he was really good in the regular season game this year where he, fucking made the play of the year when he ran through 4 Chiefs guys for that touchdown.
He was the AFC Offensive Player of the Week in that game, the first game this season against against Kansas City.
I think and it's a great rivalry. It's the best rivalry in the NFL right now. I don't think it's even close.
Mahomes has been quiet all season. It's because he didn't play. Because the Chiefs have not been that impressive. But it's still the playoffs. And
I've said it once.
Playoff matchup is unbelievable.
I'll say it once. I'll say it again. They're like an NBA team where it's like they know what to do. They're like, we're coasting through the regular season. Just get us to the playoffs, and then we turn it on.
Yeah, but they won 15-1, not counting the last bullshit.
Well, I know. You're right. I mean, but I'm just saying they didn't look stylistically that great. But we'll see what happens. I think.
Even the Houston game, did you watch? You were in Mexico. Or
no, I watched. No, I was back. I watched. I mean, I watched like the Texans had like 100 yards more in total offense, but like they kept getting sacked and they kept.
Stroud was terrible. Yeah, just the breaks, Stroud, man. It's just I'm just not impressed with Kansas City. I respect the shit out of them though, man. This is their 7th straight AFC Championship game. That is insane, dude.
I just cannot see a team going to the Super Bowl 3 straight years. But whatever, what do I know?
And winning potentially.
But look, overall, like it's gonna be fun, and I'm stoked for them to just get to where they're going next week. Because like the Bills fans, and I am a Bills fan, obviously, we deserve this. And to put it into just perspective again, like now, like if they lost today, I would have been pissed off, but I wouldn't have been like this season's a failure, like or any of that shit. I would have been like, look, I got them at 9-8 going into the season. I believed they were the door was shutting on them. I thought the Super Bowl window was closed. I was wrong, and they're doing it with a lot of. I don't want to say heart, but maybe I'll say heart because I still believe to this day that this is not as talented of a team as they were in like 2020 or 2021.
I think 95% of people would agree with you.
Well, I don't know 95% of the people. So I would just say but they're doing it with like grit and just timely plays, veterans mixed in with like the younger guys. And, maybe McDermott has changed. I don't know if he's changed or whatever the fuck. He's making joke dads Friday or whatever the hell. But like some of these guys have gotten better, and it's a fun team. Like you open the podcast up with how, Josh was saying, oh, we didn't have enough talent, and that's what people were saying. And they have elephant's ears or whatever you want to fucking call it. And
I thought right. Baltimore was a little cocky, a little bit, not hourly. Like I felt like they were a little bit cocky. I want to read a comment. This is a good one, man. Carnage said, how crazy is it the expectations we all had at the beginning of the season, and now we are literally almost to the big game? That's a great comment. Most people, again, the Bills weren't even the betting favorite to win the AFC East this season going into the season, let alone get to where they are right now. So you lose, Hyde and Poyer and Trey and all these guys, blah, 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 Diggs. You know all the guys already right now.
Mhm.
The expectations. And this was the team that got over the hump. Look, this is a team that got over the hump because of takeaways the defense has produced all season, and also kind of what you were just talking about. Guys just step up. The role player, the term role player on the Buffalo Bills it reigns supreme on this football team. Josh Allen's going to finish second, probably an MVP. He's great, obviously. But there's been so many role players. Ty Johnson has had so many big plays this season. Matt Collins has had a handful of incredibly big plays. DeMar Hamlin has had his fair share of big plays. It feels like all the time there's just somebody else who has really stepped up and delivered in certain games. And some star players have been stars when they're supposed to. I got to make sure I give Ed Oliver some praise. I got to circle back to that.
You got to give the defense.
I was like, is this going to be another elimination loss for the Bills where Ed Oliver face plants and does nothing? That was not the case at all.
He was a monster
your boy played strong today, man.
That's your boy. Yeah, that's the one you shit on all the time. So yeah,
he was very good. I think the Bills are going to go into Arrowhead. I'm not saying they're going to win the football game yet. I'm not ready to.
Yeah, he's got to steal some takes from people first.
Yeah, I got to see what everyone else says before I come up with my own.
His own stuff. Yeah,
but I'll say this: I don't think the moment's going to be too big for them whatsoever. I don't think the moment's going to be too big for them. They know this team. They've been in this position before. This is, a lot of guys. I mean, they got some young guys on this team, but still, this is a team right now that I think is going to be loose, and they know what the deal is, and they are very capable of knocking off the Chiefs. I do not think the Chiefs are even close to invincible right now. So it wouldn't surprise me to see the Bills win this game, but no matter what, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think they're not going to be in over their heads when they play the Chiefs.
Yeah. So we're at the 51-minute mark. Does anyone have questions in the chat? We can address now, by the way.
I've kind of already been putting them up on the screen.
No, but I want questions right now. I'm announcing the questions. Because, by the way, I figured out how to look at the comments in our little thing that we're in now. I didn't know I could do that before, and I just figured it out because I was looking at the.
What do you mean, the live chat that's going on?
Yeah, because no, in our thing, it says private chat, and then it says comments on the video thing that you and I are and I just realized, comments, and I can look at the comments. I'm very happy. Yeah. Are you going to the mall later? Someone asked. No, I'm not going to the mall later. I don't know what the fuck.
You asked for this shit. Don't ever ask the audience.
No, I will say this, though. I do like the mall. I think the mall is, I think we need more malls in America, but you just need to be like a water park or a brewery or Talking Buffalo Studio. Put it in a mall.
You could go to the McKinley Mall. There's like 4 people in there on a Tuesday afternoon.
Oh,
like that. That was all right. That was a Billy Madison.
I don't remember Billy. I remember that a long time ago.
Actually, now that you said that, I do. I don't know if anyone listening live might know. What do you think the line is going to be? You obviously have no idea. What do you think the line is right now? And I'm going to look it up as you're talking. See if I'm going to
say Chiefs by 2.
Chiefs by 2 is what you predict?
Yes. And I'm not.
All right. It looks like the Chiefs open as 1.5 point favorites. So that's what it's looking like. Let me just confirm that. I'll go to SB Nation real quick here. Yep, 1.5 point favorite. So the Bills are 1.5 point underdog.
And look, it is a bit of who didn't play that first game for the Chiefs? Hollywood Brown didn't. He's back, right? He's back.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown didn't play.
Pacheco, the running back, what's his name?
Pacheco. Big loss for them.
He didn't play in that game. And then the Bills, Milano wasn't back yet. I don't think. They might have been missing someone else. I forgot. They always felt like they were missing some people. But we'll see.
Yeah, 1.5 sounds about right. By the way, too, we should also give the props to the Bills. They finished the season 10-0 at home.
Yeah.
Including the playoffs, 2 playoff home wins too. So, to have 10 opponents in front of you and to beat them all, and they played some tough teams at home too. Obviously, none so more than today, and they also beat the Chiefs at home. Again, I won't allow myself to look forward to a Super Bowl, even though it's like right there now on the tip of your tongue, literally. But a little piece of me died when Detroit lost because I really wanted to see a Bills.
Not me. I mean, I was hoping the Rams were going to win today because I'm thinking of like who's I need an easy win on Super Bowl Sunday. Not
I will say this. I already used the Rocky IV reference once, but I got to say this. I said this again during the game. When Detroit played Washington, it was like Washington was like Rocky going to Russia and having to fight the powerhouse with the Russian crowd. Like, I started that game, I wanted Detroit to win the football game, but I just became so impressed with the way Jaden Daniels was playing in Washington, embracing this underdog role and just playing so loose that I actually kind of turned halfway through. I was like the Russian fans who started rooting for Rocky in the football, but with the football game, I was glad to see Washington win. Jaden Daniels is going to be a special football player, man. He really is.
What are you gonna do for the game on Sunday?
Same thing I did this game and every other game.
Oh God, you're the boringest person ever.
I'm gonna
no mimosas. Are you gonna have mimosas there?
I'm gonna prove to you. I want to prove to you I'm not lying because people are crazy. This is how. Well, maybe it's fucked up how I am. Okay, but
you are very fucked up.
All right, I'm gonna
do a podcast every day.
So I've said this. I have a ritual, and we stuck to it today. Every game, especially down the stretch, myself, my wife, my son, his girlfriend, us four, no one else is allowed. My daughter is 26 years old. She don't live with us. She lives like in Lakeview, Hamburg. So yesterday at meeting Saturday was our family's or my mother's in-laws 80th birthday. 40 of us are crammed into a house. Happy 80th birthday. It was fun. It was great. My daughter was there. She mentioned coming to the game, coming over my house, and I basically blew her off and told her no, she's not allowed. Wow. My own daughter, my own flesh and blood.
Fucking prick.
I told her no.
What if Sal Capaccio called you and said he wanted to come to the game?
No, nobody.
You'd be like, oh, you'd be like, you come on in.
My own flesh and blood. I didn't want my daughter coming to the house for the goddamn game. Okay, so everybody's laughing. Was like, I'm not joking. I'm serious, man. I'm serious. Anyway, I woke up Sunday morning. I said, that's really fucked up, man. And then I was like, God's gonna punish me because God's saying you're putting football over family. I'm gonna punish you. I'm not gonna let you
put a podcast over family.
So I texted my daughter at 11:52 this morning. I call her baby girl. It's said, baby girl, if you want to come over and hang out and watch the game, you're more than welcome to. LOL. I was joking last night. I'm putting that right up against the camera if it focuses in, just so you can see that I'm not joking about or I'm not lying. That Saturday, I literally told my own flesh and blood, my own 26-year-old daughter, that she's not coming to my house because I'm that superstitious. So anyway, to answer your question, I will be in my house. Now, if the Bills go to the Super Bowl, all bets are off. I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to go to a big party, a family. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I will enjoy the Super Bowl itself. But I'm not going to mess with destiny right now and switch up where I'm watching.
Yeah, I'll say this. I'm very disappointed that the Texans lost because I would have been going to the AFC Championship game next week because I had.
That's right. Yeah, you did talk about that.
I had bought tickets to the Bills one, and it broke my heart. I got the email from StubHub that said that we're refunding your ticket, and I'm just like, motherfuckers. And
JJ94 said Sal Capaccio versus Jerry Coleman Twitter fight. Sound the alarm. All
right. We should read. You should read this right now while we're killing time, because I may go to X to read it. You should read what's happening.
Are they going at it right now?
I'm going. That's what I think he's saying. Let's find out. Because what was everyone? What a game! I don't know. Oh, God, I gotta go through sales.
Do you see? I don't see.
Bills played the Coleman comments about the people of Buffalo on the big board before the game as motivation. Had the audio and words shown. Good job helping the Bills and hype the crowd, Jerry. Yes, those comments. That was by Sal, Jerry Coleman. Yes, those comments made Mark Andrews drop the ball or the Ravens commit 3 turnovers. You helped the Bills, Jerry. Hope the Raven flock knows. That's what Sal said. So that was
all right.
It wasn't too mean, but
it's Sal taking a little bit of a victory lap. Now, in fairness, I'll say this. I think it's dumb to just even give Jerry Coleman any attention. He's a Ravens radio guy.
I'm not talking about this.
Who has bashed the Bills fans. No, he said he called a girl a pig. He said he looked like a girl looked like a pig in a DM. It went viral this week.
Oh, I didn't see that. The only thing I saw was
he said something. If you look like or something a pig, it fits you or something like that. He went beyond that. He went really low. He's a piece of shit. He's a jerk off. And then he just blocked everybody from the Bills. He did that strictly for attention, but he did call. It is the city of losers. He did call Buffalo the city of losers.
But he did that though 2 years ago though. That was the only thing I didn't know about because like it was
2020, and then
but then he shut
Bills
up.
Mafia sent him money though when his mother got sick or some shit like that.
Okay, so I'm gonna play a little I don't want to say I didn't know about the pig thing. That kind of makes me think, okay, go shit on him. He basically told John Harbaugh, like, this is what happened like 4 years ago. And I wonder if people thought he had just said that, because he said that years ago. He was just telling him in that presser conference, like, oh, this is what happened. Like they were the city of loot. I wrote about that. Like, he talked about it like 4 years ago, and he added on to it. And then like everyone got angry again because it's like, well, he was just repeating what he did 4 years ago. It was odd to me a little bit, because it was like, we already went through that. He was a jerk off. Then he replayed it to the coach, to Harbaugh, because Harbaugh asked about it, and then everyone got angry. That's the only thing I saw when I went on X to look, and I was kind of like, why are we bringing this back up? But
JJ94 said, and then Jerry told Sal, see you in Sarasota. I have no idea if this is true. I can't even check Jerry Coleman. I'm one of the thousands.
Oh, you're blocked by him too?
By him. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Good. You know, if somebody from the Baltimore media is going to shit all over the fans, I got no issue with somebody from the Buffalo media clapping back at them.
Well, no, but I'm saying it all happened. It happened 4 years ago. It was weird that it just got brought up again.
It's because Jerry Coleman started it again. He literally did, and then, like I said,
I don't care. I don't like talking about this shit. Let me just say this. I'm gonna say this again. I've said this before. I'm in New York. Everyone hates New York City that doesn't live here, and we don't give a shit if it gets hated on. So if I'm Buffalo, who gives a fuck if some asshole in Baltimore doesn't like you? Who cares? Who gives a fuck?
Agreed.
Who cares? Just move on. You don't have to have it as a front fucking story. But hey, I'm glad they use it as motivation.
Well, again, it sounds like that's what they were doing. And look, don't say that's unprecedented, because our guy Tyler Dunn, we know that series on Sean in the past, was a year or so or whatever it was ago, that had an effect on the Buffalo Bills, man. That was kind of like a rallying cry for them. Who's to say that the shit that Jerry Coleman said to the Baltimore media and to some fans and trying to ruffle feathers on social media publicly, I'm sure the Bills took notice of that.
Of course, and they're looking for any motivation. Like, if Jerry Coleman motivated them, great. If the fucking no Pro Bowlers motivated them, great. If Josh not making all AP, helped them out, great. Whatever. I don't.
Did you see any of the Fitz leading the charge stuff before the game?
I saw he took his shirt off. It was kind of
crazy.
It was interesting. It was interesting that it was funny that they picked him, but like, isn't there a part of you, a tiny bit? Look, I'm not gonna sit here. This is just we're basically done, and we're just jerking off at this point. Okay, I mean, that's what it is right now. We're done. Don't you kind of want like a more established player doing I call it the leading the charge, like a more of a legend to do that in the division round than a guy who won 6 games, like 4 straight years for your team. Like, yeah, I know he's hilarious.
Popular dude, though, man.
I get it. But wouldn't it be great if they brought in like Thurman or fucking?
They do that all the time. How many times?
You're right. You're right. They do. Bring
the AFC Championship.
I wanted. You'll hate me for this. I wanted Marshawn Lynch. I was like, bring him back. Let's get him. He'll come out there with a joint. It would be hilarious.
I bet you Bills Mafia would embrace the hell out of him if they ever brought him back and he led the charge for a game. I bet you Bills Mafia would love to see him. Last question, just for fun. If the Bills were hosting the AFC Championship game next week, who would you have leading the charge? You're in charge. You're the person who works for the Bills, and your only job is to get somebody every week to lead the charge. If that's you, who you got for the AFC Championship game?
Bill Polian.
Really? You answered that relatively quickly.
Because I wanted to bring someone that hasn't done it, and I don't think he's done it yet. Because you're right. They bring Jim, they bring Thurman, they bring Andre in. Why not? Bill Polian. He made those teams. Bill Polian. Why not? Have him. I don't know what he's doing. Poyer. Alex Barber had Poyer. Anyways, yes, in the comments.
Poyer, he's still technically a player.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
You know what'll be a tiny little subplot this week, by the way? Taylor Rapp's almost certainly not going to play. Is this going to be the week where the Bills, with everything on the line, are the Bills going to activate or elevate Micah Hyde this week? We're going to hear it because, look, Bishop's going in the start. So you got Hamlin and Bishop. It's either him or Kareem Jackson. It's been Kareem Jackson pretty much every single time. I see no reason why that would change, but that's going to be a talking point. Unless Sean shoots it down early in the week. But if he doesn't, it's Give me a talking point. Old Micah knows the Chiefs better than anybody.
I'm very happy I get to come back to hear the talking points now because I missed the talking points while I was drinking in Cancun and eating my face off. But now I get to have that. Hey, Hyde does know the Chiefs pretty well. He's played them 1,000 times.
Right. That's got to be Kareem Jackson, though. Put it this way, a safety is going to get elevated. It does look like, and this is obviously important, we don't know now, which, by the way, Ray Davis, who didn't even get cleared from concussion protocol until Saturday, and then having a significant impact, scored a touchdown in this football game. Probably should have mentioned him at some point during the podcast. But it looks like right now that Taylor Rapp is the only player that the Bills could be down going into this AFC Championship game, which we just wrapped there. The AFC Championship game, Joe, that's what it's all about. The Buffalo Bills are in the AFC Championship game for the first time since 2020 against the team that they owned during the regular season but get owned by in the playoffs. Everything feels different this year. Now you got one more opportunity to really change the narrative of this organization.
Well, the narrative's already been changed. I think everyone considers them a legit contender.
Yeah, this season's a success now. Yeah. I'm almost ready to say you're playing with house money, given what the expectations were. But
I think, it's one of those weird things. It's one of those weird things. If, let's just say it was reversed, like the Bills are playing the Ravens in the AFC Championship, you probably would be more in line with saying, "Oh, it's house money," but you're playing the Chiefs, who have this fucking long history of you lost to them 3 times in the playoffs, 2 of them in like epically sad ways. And then one that you almost went to the Super Bowl. And I think there's like that greed of, fuck house money. You're like, you need to win this, especially because you're playing the Chiefs. You know what I mean? You're not playing a team that you barely. I mean, look, Super Bowl's a lot as on the line, but I feel like the house money kind of goes out the window a little bit because you want that redemption against the Chiefs because it's the fucking Chiefs who have beaten you 3 times, who America hates. At least I hate them. I fucking can't stand any of them. They're shitty kicker. They're fucking all them, those assholes. I'm too tired to fucking name all of them.
Tone Pucks, our boy Tone Pucks, before the playoffs, before the week 18 ended, obviously I'm sure he was intoxicated.
Of course he was.
He did say it didn't quite work out. He goes, fuck it all, man. He goes, let's go through Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Pat Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl. Well, Burrow didn't happen. You have to settle for Bo Nix. But there's an opportunity here for the Bills and for Josh Allen as an individual because team success matters for your individual guy as well. A chance to beat back-to-back weeks Lamar and Pat Mahomes. That could be really special. One last quick question. I'm going to let you go. If the Bills are fortunate enough to win this game on Sunday, do you have a preference? Who would you prefer for them to play in the Super Bowl, whether it's you thinking they got a better chance to win the game, whether it's just the matchup you want to see, Philly or Washington?
I mean, it's all about winning. Washington. The Eagles are a terrible matchup for the Bills. I do not like that matchup at all. I think the Eagles are better across the board at every position aside from quarterback, and their quarterback's still pretty damn good. Like they are a fucking low team. But again, I thought the Ravens were pretty loaded and the Bills beat them, in terms of like what they have, weaponry and their defense, etc. So, but yeah, I'd like Washington to play because Washington feels like a one-man fucking show right now with their quarterback.
It would be fun. It would be fun for sure. I refuse to get ahead of myself. I will say one thing though. The Bills are going to be America's team this week. If you're not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you're a Bills fan.
Yeah. I mean, I feel, people are sick of them, the Chiefs, but it's been fun. And like for what they did today, they held on, they were gritty against the Ravens. It could have imploded at different moments. They hung in there. They hung tough. The Ravens had to battle for those points, those yardage. You could just tell like every down like mattered. And
but so did the Bills. The Bills had to grind a little too much more than I don't want to see that next week in Arrowhead.
Well,
they need some explosives.
Pat, it's the playoffs now. But yeah, you're right. You need explosive plays. But I'm saying, in general, these games are all going to be close.
Oh,
They're going to be. It's just that's where we're at now. But I'm hoping for next week. Look, we need either Amari Cooper or Dalton Kincaid. Like, where the fuck has Dalton Kincaid been? Like, get this guy fucking like someone had it on GR today where entering this game today, the Bills have had 9 different leading wide receivers in a game this year, and Dalton Kincaid has been one of the guys who hasn't been one of their leading receivers.
He only had 2 targets this game.
Yeah, and again, like
and the one went off his face, hit his face first, and he didn't catch it. It was a low throw.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought he should have had that. Like, your first round pick, get that fucking catch. I know.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyways, I really hope like you're going against Kelsey, who's like God. Like, go and show what you can do, because you're gonna need points next week.
Last point. You just mentioned Kelsey, and it just struck a nerve with me. I remember watching the game Saturday at my mother's birthday party with everybody, and it was ridiculous. Houston, I don't know what the hell they were thinking on defense. First of all, their front four was great, which kept them in the game.
Yeah.
But their back 7, like, they were treating Travis Kelsey like he was Dawson Knox. So, like, how is this guy just roaming around wide the fuck open in the middle of the field so much against Houston? Anyway, we'll save all that stuff for later in the week. You'll be back, win, lose, or draw, live Sunday night. I want to thank, by the way, over 1,000 people on the video side tune into this live here at a late Sunday night. The Bills survive. They beat the Baltimore Ravens, and they're going to the AFC Championship game, folks. Plenty of coverage coming up all week long.
Are you going to have me on once this week, maybe?
If you want to.
I mean, I'm between gigs right now, so I got time, kind of. So
we'll figure it out.
I need to drink. We have a full fridge of food because we went to Costco, and I need to drink beer more so I can get rid of my beer out of the fridge. So and you're kind of an excuse for me to drink, and we should do. You know what we should do? We should do like a mailbag. I'm producing the show now. Fuck you. Like, we need a mailbag edition. Like, would you have mailbag questions about the game, life?
Maybe.
Kids, all that. Okay, yeah, you're not. You're blowing me off. You're gonna have
I'm not blowing you off. Well,
you're blowing me off. You got people lined up. You got the Chiefs, at SB Nation people, Matt Warren, fucking Larry Felser from the Beyond the Grave.
Oh God!
Go Bills, I guess. Yay!
All right, guys. That is gonna do it for this show. Again, thank you very much for watching and for listening. I'll be back and have some big takeaways after going through the film. Matt Warren on Wednesday, and we'll see how the rest of the week.
I'll be going through the film too. It's called Pornhub. Bye.